Okay, so today's a big day. We have our primer sealer on, and all the body work and sanding and more primer before this is complete, and we're going to be going into paint color today, so this is pretty exciting. Paint color will be green, and we'll go right through it. We watched the bed liner go on, so we reverse tape it, and now anything that's showing here will be in nice color. So the process is now going to begin, where we're painting up a lot of the body parts that we mocked up, and once everything's in paint, it's reassembly time, and it's a sprint to the finish. So we're pretty excited about the process. So we're going to have some pretty graphic, I call it graphic videos, mainly because they are graphic in the sense that you're going from a sort of a dull gray color to bam, you have a nice color paint. So watch as that occurs. Okay, Barry's in there giving our first round of paint using a brand new spray gun. Has a light on it, and pretty neat. Even though there's good lighting in the booth, this LED light with this spray gun, FJ40, giving it a shot today. So it is a brilliant color, green. We sent off a lot of test strips to the client, and this is what he chose, and we do like it. There we go, and first round of paint color for this project is on, and it looks fantastic. Barry did a very nice job. Firewall looks super good. So what will happen here is we'll remove all the paper here at some point tomorrow, the next day, after we let it cure just a little bit longer, and then we'll expose the graphic between the actual bed liner and the color. But it does look sweet. In the video compared to, it's pretty close here. I'm just looking at the both. It's a little bit darker in the video, let's say, by just a hair, but pretty accurate color from what I can see, at least on this screen. We'll see how it looks on the computer. Out of the booth is the body tub. All the paper's off. You can see we have our bed liner, and the striking difference between the bed liner and the paint color is spectacular. Looks great. Really came out nice. And over the next several weeks we'll be painting more and more parts on this, so it'll look super sharp. Well, we've unioned the body to the frame. It sits up here. It's one of those things where if you're not here on a certain day you may not see it, but we're starting to also populate the interior. We're going to be putting brackets for it, roll cage, seats, things of that nature, a lot of those different things. But you can see right now that the body is sitting down on the frame. It looks super good, and everything is just coming together nicely. So over the next several weeks we'll do some paint and assembly. So now we get down to the repopulating of the interior, and we're putting the original jump seats back in. We're basically, you've seen it media blasted painted. We're going to be using the upholstery because, quite frankly, the upholstery is in good shape. It's got a little patina, let's say, a little wear, but nothing major, no major slashes or cuts or things. But using the hardware and putting that back in. As you can see, we're also, there's a question about the dash, and here's the dash, and it's all painted, looks great. transmission transfer case are right down here as well, and we're doing a little bit of a cutout because transfer case is pushed back a little bit because of the H55 5-speed, which makes it fairly close to the edge of the body tub, so we just grind out so we don't have any vibration. We sometimes find there'll be a vibration there if you let the two touch, so we're solving that. Wiring harness is starting to be put back in. Obviously on the other side we're going to start to populate the firewall and things like that, so slowly but surely it's going to go back together, and body mounts are being dropped down for bolts and things like that, so looking sharp. Kind of gave you a sense earlier of what's going on. A lot of these brackets, again, have already been media blasted painted, have been sitting on a shelf, a rolling cart, to bring back out and then reupholster the seats. Underneath you'll find that all this stuff was media blasted, so it looks good, and put it all back together with a lot of the original hardware and start to get the interior back in. So just like that, we have more color, and I call this the graphic part of any kind of restoration, because you're looking at, you know, primer color, you're looking at, you know, raw steel, you're looking at welding, and things really don't start to get graphic and pop off real quick until you get to really paint, and then all of a sudden things go along fairly quickly. The mock-up was done, so we know all these parts fit, and that's an important process of any restoration, is the mock-up, so that way we're not doing a lot of handling after we get done with these painted parts. But needless to say, we have a lot of things. The rad cover, or front grille if you want to call it that, aluminum front fenders are all in paint, look spectacular. We're going to flip these back over and do a quick bed liner underneath, as well as the hood, and we bed lined all the other parts of the body earlier as well, so we showed you that. But aprons are here. Again, it's a great Deerfield Academy green, which is super nice. Fuel tank cover, running boards, hinges. We'll have another round of color going off here shortly, but these will be, once they come out of the booth, be assembled back on to the Land Cruiser, and assembly is doing quite nice. So hood is really beautiful. Again, a very nice color. As we can see, we are starting to populate the interior of the body, and we have our roll cage back in, our stock jump seats, all these parts you saw go into paint. And again, we want to bring this right back as if it showed up here, and we did the restoration and parts of it, you know, we did, and other parts it looks like, oh, that looks familiar. So that's really important. Jump seats. One of the requests was the VHX dash, which is a classic dash looking, but it's all brand new by Dakota Digital. And we have a fuel tank installed. So watch as we continue to populate the rest of the vehicle with all the parts that have been restored. And like with every project, after the paint, we start to do the reassembly, and you can see that that's being done here with the nose going back on, aprons, grill, then they'll fit the fenders in here, and the hood will go on, and the nose will be all pretty much done. This process goes along fairly quickly because, again, the mock-up period is really important when we're doing these restorations, so that we're handling the painted product as little as possible to keep the scratch factor down, and that's the case here. So there'll be, you know, some gaskets and seals and things like that, weather stripping going on for certain areas as well. So watch as that takes place. We're all prepped up and ready to go for a bed liner underneath the front fenders and the hood, and that will go in the bed liner color to match the rest of the vehicle, and that'll cure, and then it will go to the assembly process. All right, we have nice progress going on here. We have the fuel tank in, fuel tank cover on, inspection cover, fuel filler neck, seat brackets, hoses. So a lot of movement there. We have well, I think we've seen this jump seats. The roll cage is now in, as well as seat belts, each day goes by, there's a lot of things. Because we did the mock-up, it goes relatively quickly. Each day goes by, we have more and more items going back in. Nicely done. Heater unit, pedal assemblies, fuel pedal, steering column, wiring harnesses there. All the poles are here. You can see that we have the hood on, and the front nose, grill, etc., etc. And as you can see, we did the Linux thing underneath. Engine, that'll go over on the lift. That'll be, you know, basically one of the last things that we deal with is engine and getting that going. As far as plumbing, all the items there, but it's coming together quite nicely. This is our last batch of paint color on various and sundry parts. We have a number of brackets and things like that. Rear ambulance doors, front doors, things of that nature. A lot of the big metal items are all in final paint. And again, the green just pops right off and is spectacular. A lot of these pieces going to hinges for doors, latches for spare tire carrier, more hinges, more latches, more pins, tire carrier type stuff. So then we obviously have the tire carrier here. These last big items were sprayed in the booth, but we took them out and hung them in here to cure as we used the room for more painting. But yeah, they look great. As we said, the last big items, hard top sides, windshield frame, all aluminum. Hard top sides are original steel. So watch as we do the assembly here. Alright, we're making great headway here, and a lot of painted parts are being repopulated onto the Land Cruiser, and you can see that hard top sides have arrived. And we also have the running boards which have been installed, which are awful nice, which were hanging the other day. I didn't get them in the video. But we have, you know, brackets going on, all stainless steel hardware. Putting new gaskets in, you can see that right here. These are packings and or, you know, vent gaskets for the kick-out vents. So all sorts of things are being assembled, and using really nice new hardware, as well as this is a nice new reflector also going on. But stainless steel throughout, which is nice. Really giving it a nice flare. It really pops off the color and whatnot.